Coverage today is brought to you by the members of the DL 500 Club. For just $10 a month, you get exclusive content and send me to all the races. All right, I'm not at the 12 hours of Sebring yet, but we've got LMP3s going around. The dentists are on the loose. So you'll hear that in the background a little bit. I think IMSA sounds are pretty good, I have to admit. So, we're not talking about IMSA yet. We're talking about IndyCar, and it is, of course, the first weekend of school here at the Grand Prix of St. Petersburg, and I finally decided to actually go outside and get some sunlight. I know all of those of you who complain about me not putting on sunscreen have tried to put on sunscreen, stay inside as much as I can. So hopefully I don't get too burned this week. But the action and the heat was definitely out on the racetrack today. We had qualifying for the Grand Prix of St. Petersburg, and the field is closer pretty much than it's ever been. I believe the margin for pole was the fourth closest since the merger. Closest pole differentiation since Detroit of 2012. That's according to Dave First at IndyCar. So all in all, a pretty exciting day and some different names that we haven't usually seen up at the front. So without any further ado, I figured the best way to do it before we start talking about some of the drivers and some predictions for later on in the weekend is to take a look at how they're going to line up for tomorrow's Grand Prix of St. Petersburg. And it's Joseph Newgarden starting on the pole over Felix Rosenqvist. The front row is quite interesting for tomorrow. Newgarden hasn't typically been a street course driver in the last couple of years. Pato O'Ward, who was so close to victory last year, starts on the inside of row 2 alongside Colton Herta, former winner here. Romain Grosjean, still winless in his IndyCar career, has the Juncos Hollinger car in the first Fast 6 in quite a while. Marcus Ericsson is in P6. He's the defending champion of the St. Petersburg Grand Prix. Rinus VeeKay been fast all week. Will Power winless last year, looking to win this year and get that monkey off his back. So is Scott McLaughlin, though he did win last year. He's a former winner here, looking to get off to a good start in 2024. Marcus Armstrong has been fast all weekend, looking to see if he has some good race pace on Sunday. Scott Dixon and Christian Lundgaard, two great drivers who will be charging through the front, I'm sure. Alex Palou, the series champion, rolls off a lucky 13th in the DHL colors alongside of Santino Ferrucci. Alexander Rossi and Callum Ilott make it whole orange row for McLaren. And then you've got Tom Blomqvist, the teammate of Felix Rosenqvist, on the front row. It's all pink next to Kyle Kirkwood, who's always fast here as well. Linus Lundqvist, in his debut for 2024 as a full-time IndyCar driver. He ran a few races last year alongside Augustine Canapino. Christian Rasmussen is also in his first IndyCar race alongside of Graham Rahal. Ditto for Kiffin Simpson, rolling off for Chip Ganassi Racing in the number 4 alongside of Stingray Robb for AJ Foyt. Colin Brown in P25 in his first IndyCar race ever at the tender age of 35 alongside of Pietro Fittipaldi for Rahal Letterman Lanigan. And finally, it's Jack Harvey, shotgun on the field for tomorrow. Okay, so we pounded the pavement a little bit after qualifying. I talked to a couple of drivers we haven't talked to yet, both representing the Andretti Global team. Well, we talked after qualifying last year, and it worked out pretty well for you. So I guess I want to start with the tires. It's a different compound than last year. What did you experience? I almost said reds. Greens versus blacks. What do you think this race is going to be like?
Yeah, it will be interesting to see. We've been struggling a bit in practice to sort of get our head around the tires and sort of figure out what they're doing and not doing. And we've been a bit on the back foot, I feel like, both practice sessions. So we had to sort of take a bit of a swing on it for qualifying, and we managed to really put the car in a good spot to me. So we'll see in the race. I'm not sure. I think the black tire will probably be the race tire, but yeah, I'm not too sure.
How was qualifying just in general for you? I mean, you didn't quite get the lap there in the Fast 6, but clearly a quick hot rod underneath you.
Yeah, the car was super good. Like I said, we had some challenges. I didn't get the balance where I wanted in practice, so I was a bit worried going into qualifying, but they did some really good changes on the car just to get it the way I want it, and then straight away P1 in Q1 and strong again in Q2, and I'm just a bit pissed off that I messed up Q3, but give me an hour or so and I'll be really happy with P6 for my first qualifying with a new team and new group of people. So I think it's definitely a really strong result for us, and we can we won from 4th last year, 6th, it's not that far behind, so we can definitely mix it up from there.
Colton, so fast in qualifying. What happened in the Fast 6 there? What was the difference?
We went for a different tire strategy. In round 1, we actually set our fastest time. and it was the fastest time of the session on blacks and not the greens. So we had a feeling that it was going to be better for us to do that. And then, yeah, we just got a little bit loose, but it was a little bit weird with how the tires were reacting in that last run. So we'll have to look at that and why that was happening, but can't complain with fourth.
Yeah, that was the big talking point I had with Marcus is, what's going to be the preferred tire tomorrow? Is it going to be the black or is it going to be the green?
You probably just throw a dart at a picture or two and whatever you hit. It's very unclear to me at the moment. Whatever it is, you probably want to try to make it last for a two-stopper. So you'll have that in the back of your head. So I imagine guys that want to be safe will run one set of greens and two sets of blacks. But like I said, I don't know all the tire data, so that could completely change my answer.
So you heard me obviously bringing up a talking point, tires. A different compound this year, a little bit different construction for the tire. The drivers talked about it to us in the media bullpen. They talked to us, as you saw, just after qualifying. The question is going to be, what's the preferred tire? We sometimes see on these street courses, one tire is absolutely the right way to go. And I guess it's nice to hear her to kind of say, hey, throw a dart at it, because we want the unpredictability. We want the idea to be, hey, we don't know what tire is going to be preferred, so maybe some guys are going to take some strategy options that aren't going to work out. You'll see comers and goers, guys going to the front of the field, guys going to the back of the field. I think that's going to make for an exciting race if the tire compounds are different and durable enough to actually give us a good race. So yeah, when I come to a race, I want to have a good weekend, and that typically requires a good race, like I was just talking about. If I'm getting on the plane, which for a while that's not going to happen because I'm still going to Sebring. So, 2 weeks from now when I get on the plane and I'm going home, what is going to satisfy me? It's going to be good racing that I can see tomorrow. We spoke to a few drivers at the media bullpen yesterday to find out what would make a good race weekend and a satisfying race weekend for them. What is a realistic expectation for you this weekend? I mean, what are you going to go home, get on the plane, and be happy with at the end of the weekend?
I mean, you're never truly happy until you get a race win.
Silverware. I think if we come away with silverware here, we've had a good weekend.
I don't want to tie us to a number because half tenth is like front of the grid to the end of the grid right now. So
right now we have to see where we are, and we are for sure not one of the favorite right now. So
I'm not sure that it's really a position result. What I want most out of this weekend is to know that I put the car where it should have been.
That being said, my goal is not to go in here and win the first race. The goal is to maximize my own performance, whatever that is. I don't know. It might be 15th, or it might be a race win.
I think we left Laguna with a very, very bittersweet feeling. Obviously being the absolute, in my opinion, the fastest team throughout the whole weekend. We were super quick on the Thursday test. We got the lap record. We didn't get the pole, but Yuri was there as well. Very, very competitive.
You got to realize as well, you're coming in as a rookie, going up in one of the toughest series in the whole world, I would say. You're going up against some of the best drivers in the whole world, so it's going to be a big ask. There's a lot of learning to do, but
if we had a car only for fifth, then I'll take fifth. But if we've got a car for the win, then I'm going to want to win the race. So just making sure that I get everything out of the car and everything out of each session, but also learning-wise. I want to make sure that I learn everything I can from this weekend.
all I know is that I want to go to bed knowing that I did absolutely everything that I could. And then we'll see where we are.
You never know, but I think we have good pace and an up to our game from last year.
We do the best we can. We see where we are at the end, but it's gonna be steady, catch the monkey.
At the same time, we're here to fight for podiums and wins.
So predictions for tomorrow. That's going to be the real question. I think number one, I think Felix Rosenqvist is going to have a really good day. Is he going to be able to outrace Joseph Newgarden? That's going to be the real question. I think the Andretti cars just across the board, whether they're coming out of the Schenck camp or whether they're coming out of the Andretti camp themselves, are going to be extremely strong. We saw the pace, at least over one lap, that Herta and Ericsson had. Ericsson, of course, the previous winner here, ditto for Colton Herta. And I think Kyle Kirkwood had a really good shot here last year. Him starting in the middle of the pack is going to be extremely difficult for him to kind of overcome. I'm going to throw some other names at you. Romain Grosjean, definitely one that I'm looking at as a spoiler. I mean, it would be quite a surprise if Juncos Hollinger Racing finds their way into victory lane tomorrow. But Romain Grosjean is extremely hungry. We saw that last year. We saw the emotion when he crashed out. the same for Pato O'Ward, who I think will have a very good day tomorrow. The plenum incident was the only thing that took an opportunity away from him to get an IndyCar win right out of the bat last year. And think about how maybe things might have changed for Pato if he had won right away versus not winning here at St. Pete. I mean, this race can set such a tone. There's a couple of other drivers I kind of have an eye on if we look down the rest of the field. I think Marcus Armstrong's going to have a good day. He didn't qualify quite as well as I expected him to, but I still think there's a good chance that Armstrong will be strong tomorrow. And then let's take someone really far back in the field. Let me think for a second. I'm curious to see how Colin Brown does. I don't think he's going to have a fantastic day by any stretch of the imagination. It's a total learning day for Colin Brown, but I think he's got the talent for sure, and he's kind of racing for a ride. There's not really a set plan of what he's going to be doing for the rest of the year. I think an impressive debut for Dale Coyne Racing will go a long way. So thank you guys so much for watching. This has been David Land on YouTube. We're going to have a full recap of the race tomorrow. Hopefully it's a good one. Looks like the weather's going to be much better than it has been, a little bit cooler. So I wonder if those cooler temps are going to really throw a monkey wrench into things, because it's been so hot and so humid here up until race day. The temperatures are starting to come down, and they should stay pretty low for tomorrow. I think we could see some different things than maybe we've expected in the past. So thank you guys, and we'll see you in the next video.